So yeah, apologies. I'm still recovering from a little bit of a virus. So my voice is a little squeaky, but I'll try my best. Okay, so we're going on to something called the test of wealth. And Rabbi Bachya continues by discussing the cases now in which God gives a person wealth for the sake of providing for others. So we had discussed about being tranquil in all situations, knowing that when you've done the things that you need to do, and you need to have an honest conversation with yourself about what you realize, what you think that God expects you to do in that situation, with 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 all your with all the benefits that you've been given, and also with all the disadvantages that you've been given. So not to expect too much from yourself in any situation, and also not to expect too little, but just to be, like to take a reasonable view that in this situation, what would God want you to do? Like among the Christians, they have this WWJS, like what would Jesus say? Sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on here, but I was thinking, what would Hashem say? Like if you had an angel sitting on your shoulder, like encouraging you, what would they say? So in that situation, there is a scenario where you will get loads more wealth than you thought you ever needed. But it's not that you're going to get it from you scrabbling around and overperforming like a performing monkey in a circus. It is that you're doing your steps and God sees to the heart and he has decided that you are going to get more. So now this is what happens if that happens in that lucky scenario. God bless us all that it should be so, that we are tested by wealth. So v'yesh shemanhig haborei tarfei rabim bnei adam al yad ish echad mehem. And the way that Rabbi Bachya puts it is that Hashem is literally putting resources in your bank for others. It's like a deposit because he trusts you in order to test him. To test you. If you're going to remain faithful to God, or to rebel against him. And such a test, says Rabbi Bachya, is actually among the most difficult of all trials and temptations for a person. So it's funny, it's a very skewed look at the way that we look at the world. We always look at people with envy who have so many resources. And Rabbi Bachya says quite the contrary. If he were given these resources, we'd find it extreme. Well, I'm not saying he would find it himself, but he believes that it's extremely difficult. And in fact, one of the most difficult tests that a person can have, to have that many resources placed at your disposal and not to use them wrongly. Kamelech, an example of a person like that would be a king, who has to provide for an army and his soldiers. And ministers and advisors to the king and their deputies, who are surrounded by groups of servants, officials and wives and relatives, like the HMS Mikado, what's it called, the Mikado, all his sisters and his cousins and his aunt. Yeah, each responsibility comes with what is it? With power comes great responsibility. I'm quoting Star Wars now. And for whom they have to make efforts to pursue means of amassing wealth. Through both good and bad ways. Okay, let's just go, before we march on with the text, we're going to go back into the commentary. So the first one, it says tranquility of the soul. That was the last sentence that we had last week. When we rely on God, we find tranquility, peace of mind and tranquility of the soul. Since a person knows that whatever has been designated for him will not pass him by to anyone else, and that his sustenance will not reach him earlier or later than that which has been decreed. So since he'll not constantly worry about whether he'll be successful or not. Okay, now we're talking about a person to whom the sustenance of many comes through one person. So God chooses a person and makes him wealthy, and the reason for his wealth is that he is God's messenger to support others. Hashem desires that the world functions in a manner where there are givers and takers. So it's not a static world. We are supposed to be always in flux, always in movement. And in fact, somebody told me this once, a beautiful Torah, that the word mezuzah that we have on all our doorways and gateposts, at the center of it is the word zuz, which is movement, vibration. And the word zuz is also the ancient Hebrew word for money. Zuz is a coin. The first the first type of money that there was, coins before crypto and banknotes and these things. But a coin is supposed to move. It's not supposed to stay in one person's hand, because it's the whole point of it's no use to anyone if it's just money. It just stays in your hand. The only use of it is by giving it to someone else, and then you get a service. It has to be vibrating in flow and in movement all the time. So the world was created with that energy of vibration, and so all the blessings that are in it, all different forms of energy, and energy must move. So we are all programmed to give, to receive, but not to just sit there frozen with a bank account frozen. And Hashem desires that the world is so that it functions in a manner where there are givers and takers. And he also desires very much the commandment of charity. I'll drop in something really, really nice that I heard on this last week's Sedra as well. And I think it was Sammy Rubin who told this to us on the Torah, called Take 5, which is in the WhatsApp group. But we had last week's Parsha was about taking Machatzit HaShekel. And the word Machatzit, the middle of it is the tzadi. And the tzadi stands for tzedakah, because tzedakah is the center of growth, of abundance. And next to the word tzedakah and the word machatzit are the words letters chet and yud, chai, because tzedakah gives life. And the closer you are to giving, to tzedakah, the closer you are to life itself, because that is the energy of all life, is giving, is constantly moving and giving and receiving. And if you move away from tzedakah, the further away you move, the words machatzit, the last letters and beginning are met, mem and taf, met, zef. So that's such a visual reminder of how important it is that we always remember that we're given things in order to keep them moving. We're not supposed to just keep them and hold on to them and be frozen and fear around what will happen if. So this is why Hashem chooses to make some people rich and some people poor. But however, from Hashem's perspective, we are all receivers from God, and he is the ultimate giver to all mankind. So really, it's an illusion that we're taking from a person. We're taking through the person who's acting as a conduit of Hashem. And our task is to view it all from Hashem's prism of truth. So Hashem chooses to hold his money and dispense it to others as he sees fit, and that's from the Likutei Sichot. The bottom line, Hashem chooses a person and makes him wealthy. The reason for his wealth is that he is Hashem's messenger, the privilege and the obligation and the responsibility of being that messenger to support others. So, actually, I think that's just such a beautiful lesson that I would just stop there and just open that up if there's any question or discussion on that, because I think that's really something to think about. Would you be okay with that, Alana?
Yes, sorry, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a short one. And is there anything you'd like to contribute or add?
Not at the moment, but thank you.
That's okay. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, so I just didn't want to close it.
No, it's okay. I'm also, it's just, I can't really speak.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Since it's a short one and I've got a few minutes, I thought, would you like to do quick healing for the soldiers, for the hostages?
Yes.
I'll do
Yes,
Maluk then. I'm doing the 1-2-1 is usually the traditional one, people say. And it's also one you know off by heart, so I'll say it slowly, you could say it along. Shulam Alot, Esahinai El Harim, May Ayin Yavo Ezri. Ezri Me'im Adonai, Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz. Al yitain lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hinei lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha, al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka, yarech b'layla. Adonai yishmorcha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzidcha v'ohecha me'at ba'adolah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shulamit.
See you
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Have a good day. Feel better.
Yeah, thank you. I'm feeling a lot better already. Thank you so much.